According to Jesus,
than the Mosaic.
okay, according to Jesus, do you need to follow the law or not?
He does say, not a jot or tittle will be lost from the law.
Okay, do you follow the law?
We do not follow the Mosaic covenant, we follow the covenant of
Why did Jesus say you don't need to follow the law?
Because he established with his disciples, they were going to go around and preach this, and they ended up teaching that you did not have to be circumcised, for example. These things
Who
were
said?
said in
It's Paul, not Jesus.
Exactly.
Did Jesus
Paul
say?
managed to convince Peter
No.
to change his views on whether you needed to get circumcised. So Peter,
according
you have to call
to
Peter
okay, according
a fool.
to according
You have to call Peter a fool if you want to say
Okay.
that this was all just Paul's work.
according to
Paul,
Jesus,
Peter
according to
signed
Jesus,
off on it.
according to Jesus, do you need to follow the law?
Yes, he said. Not a jot or tittle will be lost from the law.
And does law?
Do you eat pork, for example? Because I get a nice ham sandwich.
You just listened to what I was saying. I'm going to say it again.
Okay.
I said the new covenant is not the same as the law of Moses. The new covenant, the covenant of Jesus,
Well, why
is
isn't
different.
it? Why isn't it?
It's because he handed. Okay, you know who Paul is, right?
Well, no, do
Who
you
is
know-
the
do you
one-
know- do you
you
know-
know who Paul is, right?
Do you know Jeremiah 31 about the new covenant?
Do
This is
you
the new
know
covenant.
who Paul is?
Not very well, no.
Peter.
Maybe you can teach me.
Okay, so Peter is the one who Jesus said, "On this rock I shall build my church." He was essentially given the highest position of authority.
Oh, you're a
of Jesus'
Catholic, are you? You're a
disciples.
Catholic.
And
Yes, I am. I do believe
You're a Roman Catholic.
and Paul, Paul said
only Catholics put that passage.
this rock of the church is a hypocrite. Paul said it. Is,
Yeah, but
is it true?
can I just ask?
Paul said Peter is a hypocrite. Did he say it or not?
Yeah, that's the whole
Do,
point. That's literally the
once
point.
again,
The
do you believe
first-
Peter is a hypocrite?
Do you know what happens after?
Alex, do you believe Peter is a hypocrite?
I believe that he was a flawed person, and that was him being called out exactly as
Was
Jesus
Peter
intended.
a hypocrite?
Exactly as Jesus intended it. The first pope,
Sorry, John.
who is Peter, was told that he was getting it wrong by someone in the early church, which was Paul, and he ended up thinking about it and realizing he was right. So Peter himself agreed that his original position had been wrong on what the Judaizers were teaching, that you have to continue to be circumcised.
Why did he say that he realized that Peter?
Because
was
Peter
right?
is literally the head of the church. So the fact that then the church started saying that people did not have to be circumcised, which is exactly what Paul had been arguing to Peter changed his mind
No.
and started agreeing that, yes.
According to you, after the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, do you need to follow the law? After the crucifixion?
You have to follow the covenant of Jesus Christ, yes.
Do you need to follow the law, the Mosaic law?
Which is no longer the Mosaic law, which is exactly what that argument
no
Peter
problem.
had was about.
Can I just address this point about the new covenant? It's very important.
Yeah.
So the new covenant was prophesied, wasn't it, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, right? And would you accept the main covenant prophecy? The new covenant is Jeremiah chapter 31. I don't know if you've read that. I don't know if you've read Jeremiah. Probably not. No,
I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Okay. Well, it talks about that this is referenced in the New Testament. There will be a new covenant with the people of God. No longer will they have to follow tablets of stone. That God will breathe, give them the Spirit, and they'll obey God from their hearts. This is the new covenant that you're referring to. Yeah. Okay. Behold, the days are coming. Jeremiah 31.
Yeah.
Behold, the days are coming when I'll make a new covenant with the house of Israel. This is your covenant. Do you accept that?
Sure.
I mean, this is a serious point. It says, not like the covenant I made with the fathers, the man of Egypt, blah, blah. I will put the law within them and I will write it on their hearts, and they will no longer need to teach one another. This is
Still distracting.
This is
such a big distraction from the original point.
Well, you haven't heard my point yet. I haven't made my point. I'm just
saying you're
asking.
distracted. I'm just saying that you managed to really direct away from the Quran every time.
I'm not mentioning
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to him.
Okay.
But
But anyway,
keep saying
if I can just finish my point. So this is the new covenant that you refer to repeatedly, that you're now following. And Christians say this is the covenant that is prophesied in the Bible.
Yeah.
And I think, fine. But if you actually read it, which Christians don't normally read, or they ignore key passages, because it says, for this covenant I will make with the house of Israel, I will put the law, my law, within them, and I will write it on their hearts. The law he's referring to are the 630 commandments of the law of Moses. This is the law of God. There's only one law that the Israelites followed, the law of Moses. The other prophets didn't bring laws. This was the law.
And Jesus.
So when in Matthew's Gospel, when Jesus said, I have not come to abolish the law,
But to fulfill the law.
But to fulfill the law, he is reaffirming the law. But Christians today have abolished 99% 90% of the law, maybe 1 or 2 commandments,
Yeah.
you don't even follow. You don't even follow the 10
So do you
commandments, by the
agree
way, because
that,
one of them is
Paul
Sabbath
was
they don't follow.
a fool, an idiot? The first person Jesus himself chose to be the head of the church was a fool and an idiot. Is that what you believe?
Well, I believe the first person that the apostles chose, and if you won't perhaps know this historically, the first person they chose was James, be head of the church.
Who was the head of Church of Jerusalem?
Peter. This is the idea that Jesus founded a church is only found in one gospel. It's not found in the Gospel of Mark or the Gospel of Luke or the Gospel of John. It's only found, as you rightly say, in 2 places in Matthew.
In Book of Acts. In Book of Acts, who's the?
So the point is this: that scholars don't think that Jesus came to found a church at all. But the head of the community of the earliest Christians, we know from multiple independent sources, was
What do you mean,
James.
whatever it is?
And James was the brother of
Jesus chose disciples. One of those disciples was Peter. Peter was clearly part of the church that was one of the
Who was
people
the head of the
that
church?
was part of the church that was responsible for then setting up that people did not have to get circumcised, and the clear thing
According
that's
to
being
Acts,
said.
according to Acts, who is the head of the church?
Clear thing that's being said. I'm not letting you distract from this because you have to answer my question now. This is because you're literally
go ahead.
saying you're trying to imply that the disciples of Jesus are too dumb that they
No, I never said that.
actually you are because if you think about it for one
With
single
respect
second,
to, don't tell
you
me what
realize
I'm saying. I will
don't-
decide what I'm saying.
I'm
Don't
going
tell
to
me
make
what
my
I'm saying.
point, and you're going to see if that's not what you're saying. So I'm saying that if you're saying,
I'm not saying they're dumb.
honestly, I don't want to be filmed.
Well, it's a bit late. You've been filmed.
Yeah,
for the
you
last
already
20
been
filmed the last 20
filmed.
minutes.
I don't really mind, but like the point is that now I'm not interested with this number of cameras. It's silly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'd rather go someplace else. Thanks if we're going to continue this
How
conversation.
about the blurring?
Sorry.
They'll blur you.
No, not about blur me. I want to have this conversation someplace else. I don't want it to be recorded. Because now there's 3 of you, and you're all... At first I
What do
thought
you
you were
mean
a
3 of you?
Christian, and I thought you were a Christian,
Well, because I'm
actually.
white. Because I'm a white guy.
No, I just simply heard
Why
you come
did you
up,
assume I'm
and
a
I heard
Christian?
you say to me that actually Christians nowadays don't follow the things correctly.
This is true. That's
But
why
I
as a
thought-
Muslim, I
I
believe
met multiple Christians in the last couple of days, or in the last couple of times I've come here, who've
they
said
agree with
similar
Muslims.
things.
They agree with Muslims.
No, they actually
They
agree
do.
with,
They agree with
actually
Muslims.
agree with loose
So
beliefs.
according
I've
to
also
you,
met a bunch of people
once
who
again,
who
according to you,
who are non...
Alex,
I don't know if
Alex,
they call it
Alex,
submission,
Alex,
but rather
Alex,
than Islam,
Alex,
they call it submission.
Alex,
So
Alex,
I met a bunch of people like
Alex,
that here.
Alex. According to Jesus, you need to follow the law.
Let's go someplace else.
Alex,
I'm not letting you-
according to Jesus,
Let's go someplace else.
No, I'm not going anywhere
Yeah,
else.
well, if you're going to have the conversation, I'm going to have
we don't need to have a
Well,
conversation.
I'm not going
Yeah,
anywhere.
that's fine.
That's
That's fine.
fine, yeah.
Bye-bye.
If you want to give up because you wanted to record
Well,
this,
we-
That's not very mature, dude. That's not very mature.
no, it's actually if you didn't even ask me whether I
you
wanted
can't
to be
you can't
recorded
issue
anyways.
orders.
You saw all the cameras, you
It's
saw
not how
3,
it
4
works.
cameras, and
you
now
can't make
suddenly
orders that
you become
because don't follow
insecure.
your orders. It's
I'm
not
not
very...
asking you to follow orders. I'm saying
You are.
I just want to have the
You're a
conversation,
dictator.
and I don't want this number of cameras.
Okay, well, fine. But
That's fine, you can leave.
End the conversation. Thank you.
Yes.
And we'll carry on
So
talking
you're
about...
not interested to talk about the conversation anymore.
Well,
if I'm
we-
not.
he
No,
and
we
I
are
will-
standing
he
here
I will
and we're
carry on
talking. And
about
You
what
told
we're
me to
doing.
come here.
why are you being insecure now? You are fine. You are
Insecure,
fine.
eh?
You are fine with all the cameras, and now you're.
Insecure, eh? Now you get a bunch of people here, and then you just keep
Where's
changing the
the-
topic from what we were originally talking about. And I'm just trying to be
where's the
polite.
bunch
I
of
would be
people?
polite. I would continue the conversation if it was just us having a conversation. But because there's cameras here, it allows for you to make a false narrative where you just keep changing the topic away from your Quran. I just wanted to ask you questions originally. I didn't want to have to ask 100 questions about the Bible where you're going to take advantage of anything that I don't know about the Bible. Yes, there's plenty I don't know about the Bible. I never claimed to know everything.
You don't know about the basic thing, which is the greatest
Well,
commandment.
that's why I asked you some
Oh, really?
questions about the Quran.
He didn't know the
man.
greatest
The
commandment.
Christians don't normally know that.
Yeah.
I know Muslims do,
Yeah.
but Christians don't.
We know what the arguments are. I knew the line about the Lord your God is one. I knew that Jesus.
What do you mean
said.
lying about?
The line.
Did you know
I
the
said I
greatest?
knew
What's-
Jesus
Lie,
about-
lie,
Oh,
not
sorry.
I knew the line about Jesus saying that. I just didn't know that he said it was the greatest commandment. That's the only part I didn't know.
The Shema, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. And that's the same in Islam. So Muslims actually agree with Jesus. Christians actually don't follow that teaching.
Yeah, because you said the Quran. Why Quran
You
is
don't
not?
follow your teaching. Your Quran says the Bible is confirmed. It says that they had the Torah in their hand and they threw it over the shoulder, and why did they do that when the Quran was confirming that which they had with them? It's talking about how they literally had these books. It's not saying anything about them
confirming that teaching.
It's not saying anything about them being
Yeah, if you
corrupt.
look at the context of that, it's the teaching that is being confirmed to do with adultery and so on. It's not like the Quran is endorsing your Christian Bible at all. No one thinks that.
It's you guys that actually truly do not follow what your Quran
since you mentioned Quran is what Quran confirms.
Quran confirms that the Torah and the Injil are not corrupted.
What is the difference between Injil and Anajil?
I don't know. What's Anajil?
Okay, cool. Anajil is the Gospels, and Injil is one singular Gospel. Does Quran confirm 4 Gospels? You have 49 Gospels. Does Quran confirm 4 Gospels or 1 Gospel?
Again, so the Quran says Injil, it's a singular, so you could imply.
Okay, so how many Gospels do you have now? How many Gospels do you have now?
However, then you have to read the Quran verse that said that the Quran was confirming what they had with them. Christians, and people of the Injil, what are you going to do if you do not judge by the Injil?
Let me explain. There is more to it than that. There is Surah 5, verse 48, where the Quran talks about itself as a muhaymin, that's the Arabic word, in relation to the scriptures.
As a guardian over.
And it's like a quality control, affirming what is true within those scriptures, the extant scriptures that we have now, and also falsifying what is false in them. But the Quran repeatedly corrects the Bible when it misrepresents or distorts the truth. For example, the Quran is very clear that Jesus was not crucified, although it appeared to some of the Jews that he was. Now, the Quran is obviously not confirming in the New Testament. The New Testament repeatedly makes that claim. The Quran affirms many things, correcting the scriptures that we have in very minute detail. To say that simply confirming the Bible is to misunderstand the Quran.
Chapter 5, verse 47 says, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein.
Exactly.
And whoever does not judge by what Allah has revealed, then it is those who are the defiantly disobedient.
Exactly.
It's interesting if we don't have this singular gospel anymore.
And what's the context? What's the context of this verse?
We do have the gospel of Jesus
What
Christ,
is the context of this? You don't have gospel of Jesus Christ. Don't say it. You have gospel of Mark. One second. You have gospel of Mark, gospel of Matthew, gospel of Luke. Which one is the gospel of Jesus?
It says in the beginning of one of them that it's the gospel of Jesus Christ, but that whole thing is considered to be.
Which one is the gospel of Jesus?
No, it says in the beginning of one of them that it is the gospel of Jesus Christ.
No.
So let
me quote you. Let me quote you. One second.
So if you're going to say that they're not saying that they're the gospel of Jesus
Mark
Christ,
said.
that's not
In the
right.
Quran,
They
the
do
Injil
say
is
that
given
they're the
to
gospel of
Jesus.
That's what I'm trying to say. In Mark 1:14, Jesus went to Galilee and preached his gospel. What is this gospel?
Again, the one of them says that in the beginning of it that it is the gospel of Jesus Christ.
No.
If it says it is the gospel of Jesus Christ,
Have mercy on him.
So.
Many people think religion is just tradition or emotion. But what if reason and logic actually point toward Islam as the most consistent worldview? Islam isn't blind faith. It's rational belief grounded in logic and evidence. The existence of God. Start here. Does the universe require a cause? Everything that begins to exist must have a cause. The universe began to exist, so it has a cause. That cause must be outside of space and time, powerful enough to create everything, non-dependent on anything else. That's not superstition, that's sound philosophical logic. This uncaused first cause is exactly what we call Allah in Islam. Divine unity versus religious division. Islam teaches Tawhid, the absolute oneness of God. Many Christian doctrines like the Trinity introduce multiple beings in the Godhead. This raises a logical problem. If God is one, why are there 3 persons? Islam keeps it simple, one divine reality without internal division. Unity in logic and unity in theology. Logic, morality, and revelation. If morality is just human preference, then good and evil become subjective. But every society still criticizes injustice and praises justice, which means there's a universal moral order. Islam explains this by grounding morality in a perfect, unchanging source, Allah. Without God, moral values are just opinions. With God, they become objective truths, addressing misunderstandings. Critics often throw out caricatures of Islam, ignoring centuries of deep theology, logic, and moral reasoning. But honest dialogue shows that Islam's worldview is metaphysically coherent, logically consistent, worthy of serious intellectual consideration. Islam is not a faith of confusion, it's a faith of clarity and reason. Closing, if you want truth, follow logic where it leads, not emotional slogans or social narratives. Logic, evidence, and reality all point to a single coherent divine truth, Allah.